How we doing? We live? PC's cranking up real hard. Feels like we're live. Alrighty. I just lost a... Oh, that's always great. Alright, let's try this again. See if it just immediately dies on me. Hoping not. Lowered the bit rate, changed the resolution. Not gonna have as much upload tonight as usual. The last couple nights been streaming. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. But we'll see how this goes. We shall see. Alright. Welcome everybody to another episode of Spectrum Talk. For anyone catching the video or live. I do that every time I do the audio version of the podcast. Because I'm recording the MP3 separately. Alright. So again, just for those audio listeners who don't know, this is being recorded live overall. Well, it's being recorded live and streamed live over on Twitch and YouTube over on my YouTube channel and Twitch channel, The Autistic Cowboy. It's got the same name, yada yada yada. You know, it's pretty simple. I gotta sit up at the frame and not hit my desk and make everything fall over. That would be fantastic. Gotta figure out how to get comfortable. Yeah, it seems professional. Just trying to sit in a way that doesn't hit my desk. So I'm not just doing the podcast, but I'm also watching the stream and making sure everything's good and not dying, which the streams have a habit of doing. Okay. I dropped some frames there for a second, but that's okay. I hope. If we're lucky, the internet's going to level out. I'm going to be fine. But until then, today's topic, I guess, I don't know. I put the title for the stream. I don't know if the title's going to change or not. Is let's talk about autism. I am the Autistic Cowboy. Because no shit, I have autism. I'm on the autistic spectrum. And I've known since I was diagnosed. I was 16? 17? It's hard for me to know because I was diagnosed and the doctor did not tell me or my mother. It kind of popped up in an offhand conversation. Like, well, yeah, because this, because you're autistic. And I was like, excuse me? And they're like, yeah, you didn't know that? And I was like, no, how the hell would I have known that? She's like, oh, I thought I told you. No, you didn't. I sure as hell didn't know. And, damn, it was almost 10 years ago. Jeez. Almost 10 years ago. Crazy how time flies. But yeah, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about autism out there. I saw one today on Twitter, some dumbass. It was an article in a magazine. First thing was that autistic people can't write literature. That's fucking stupid. Number one, stupid. Right there. But then the take was that we couldn't write good fiction or write fiction well because we didn't have the ability. We didn't have the I forget how he put it. Basically, we don't have empathy, which is not true at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion. At all. We're not psychopaths or sociopaths, which would now be what classified as antisocial personality disorder. We're autistic people. And there's a spectrum, a grand spectrum. There's many different peoples and types in it. There's even a number thing now with like a grade. I forgot how it works. I think it's 1, 2, and 3, and I forgot what number means what. Like, it's confusing because a lot of stuff is changing every day. But this dumb idiot saying that we can't write books. Lots of autistic people have written books. I wrote a book, fucker. Now, it wasn't fiction, but I wrote a book. The person that had quote tweeted this and just lambasted this asshole also wrote a book, and is autistic. Lots of people have been autistic and written all kinds of books, from nonfiction to fiction. All different kinds of genres and whatnot. Lots of them. Lots of them. We can write. There's actually a very prominent autistic journalist. Pretty sure she knows how to write. Just saying. Wish I could remember her name. I don't do any research before these. I just talk. Ooh, dropped a bunch of frames. But, so yeah, we can write. On that empathy thing, I don't know. Well, I guess it comes from that Nazi son of a bitch. Let's back up. So there was a Nazi. His last name was like Asperger, and that's how you got the name Asperger's, which is now in the autism spectrum, but it used to be a separate condition. Yeah, that's confusing as shit. Anyway, for whatever reason, he got named after a Nazi, who deemed that autistic people didn't have humor or empathy because, and I shit you not, they didn't like his jokes. They didn't find him to be very funny. Now, as you can imagine, this German Nazi motherfucker was probably not the funniest person in the world. Also a Nazi. Straight up true believer Nazi. Probably not a lot of laughter to be had there. So we didn't laugh at his jokes. So he's like, oh, they don't have this. Made a bunch of leaps. Because, that's what they do. They make leaps and then try to justify shit. Anyway, evil piece of shit, because of those misconceptions. His misconception. It has lasted for almost 100 years now. That we lack empathy. That could not be farther from the truth. In many cases, autistic people are super empathetic. So much so that it causes us so much emotion that we cannot process it. Hey, thank you, Roku 101. Thank you for the follow. It causes so much emotion that we can't deal with it. I saw one thing on Twitter. It was like they say I show no emotion, or they say like guy says autistic people can't show emotion or have no empathy. Me crying at a box because it looks sad. We can see emotion in many different things, to a degree that neurotypical people can't or won't. I'm not really sure which one that is. For me personally, when I watch movies, now granted they have to be good. It's not like I just watch every movie and I'm like, it's the greatest thing ever made. No. If I watch a really well done movie, it tends to hit me a lot harder than it does other people. They'll be like, that's a pretty good movie. And then I'm over here like, holy shit, I've never experienced something like this, because I can feel the emotions of the individual characters. To a painful degree, actually. To where I can feel their pains. My body has a response where it makes me feel their pains. That's the only really way I know how to describe it. So, when a particularly emotional scene will happen, or it's supposed to invoke people to cry, though I can usually reserve it and hold back, I feel all those emotions. Usually just don't see it on my face, and the people were like, well, they don't have emotion. And it's like, yeah, no shit. I mean, not no shit. It's like, no, I'm just trying not to fall apart in front of people because that makes people uncomfortable. Your mom works with kids that have autism. Most of their parents just take them there. Trying to figure out how that's written. Aw, man. I just lost. Come on, restart. The stream died. You gotta be kidding me. There we go. Are we back? Are we back finally? The stream died real hard there for a second. Why mess with the properties of the chat box? Visual settings. Always show. Always show messages. What I don't know is why it's showing doubles. It used to. I swear I fixed that problem. It's back. Thank you, Roku. I swear I had it. I had it to where I could stop it from showing doubles. You know what? I actually might still be able to do that. I'll do that later. That's fine. For this stream, doesn't need it. I can just set it to one or the other. Anyway, I was saying something. And this, in the audio version, it'll be completely uninterrupted. That's the great thing about having an audio backup and then uploading it. I was saying something about... I forgot what I was saying because everything happened. Something about empathy. We do not like empathy. Some do not know how to... Well, for a lot of us, we have issues. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Ha ha ha. The stream keeps dying on me. The internet was fine, so I don't know why it keeps dying. That just bugs me. Just gotta keep going. Just keep. All right, let me sit up right. We just gotta keep on trucking, and hope to God it doesn't die. Roku's saying it's okay now. That's good. Hopefully it stays that way. Anyway, we have a lot of empathy. We have emotion. The problem is we don't necessarily know how to describe or deal with said emotion. Understand this said emotion. Like we know what the emotion is. We just may not know why the emotion is, or how, or how to properly convey said emotion. So a lot of times that will either equal outbursts or nothing. Doesn't really seem to be in between, depending on what said emotion is. That's why mirroring is such an important thing. We see how people react to certain things, and we go, oh, that's an acceptable response to what we're feeling here. We feel that. We can feel that thing, but we may not know how to show it. So we use a mirroring, which is why TV and film and stuff were very important to me, because it not only were they just fun to watch, it taught me how to be a fucking person, which is weird. Use that to go, okay, so these are acceptable responses. This is how this works. So don't just break down. Don't just fall apart. Do this, you know. And it's actually, if we get on the outburst thing, that kind of comes from not being able to not show anything. You know, it's like, well, they show no emotion and whatnot, and then it just goes right into a huge outburst. That's because that whole, if you bottle things up, it explodes. And it's very true. And those outbursts usually come from not being able to convey or communicate what we want. We keep trying it again and again and again and again. It's just not clicking, and finally we just fucking had enough. And it's the only way we can get it out. On its surface, autism is a communication disorder. Or at its core, not on its surface. It is a communication disorder. And it's not just being able to communicate with each other, but to communicate with ourselves. It's difficult, to say the least. Very, very, very difficult. And it's because of these difficulties that it makes our lives troublesome. Our lives would be a lot easier if people weren't assholes and try to tell us what we are or aren't, what we do and don't feel, and treat us like we're not people. Well, newsflash, you dumb son of a bitch, we're people. And we can fucking write, you asshole. That's the stupidest thing I've read. Well, maybe not the stupidest thing I've read, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. I don't get why these misconceptions persist. I don't understand how many people have to get up and tell you, no, that's not how that works, before you fucking believe them. It's not like there's not a lot of autistic people around. There's quite a lot of us. And our voices are getting out there. Now, granted, maybe you don't hear it because there's only, right now, only one person's fucking watching me. So I get that, but still, a lot of us are talking, writing, communicating in various different ways, and telling you that this is how this works. Can we tell you everything? No, because we don't know everything about this. When we ask you for something like, what does this mean? What does this do? And yada, yada, yada. Then you get to tell us. Please miss me with that shit of you telling us how we feel, what we do, and how we react to shit, or what we are capable of when you don't know jack shit. Can you tell I might be a little mad? Doesn't help that for whatever reason the stream keeps dying. But it's people of this weird, of this other misconception of that we are either capable of nothing or everything. We can either do nothing that they can do, or we can do everything that they can just as well. And that's just not true. One, for anyone. Especially people with a fucking communication disorder. I don't know where that comes from. I guess it just comes from, oddly enough, a lack of empathy and a lack of compassion, which has nothing to do with autistic people. It has everything to do with neurotypical people not giving a shit. You want to call out people for a lack of empathy, or say that certain people don't have a lack of empathy, maybe you got to look in the mirror. Call out yourself and leave the people with the mental disorders alone. We have immense empathy. It's one of our core traits. So much empathy that it can literally cause us to break down. I don't know. People are stupid. It's just, I guess that's what it comes down to. People are stupid, and there's really no other way to say it. Though it's more than just stupidity. It's ignorance, which ignorance is separate from stupidity. Being ignorant does not make you stupid. It makes you ignorant and naive. But there are those who choose to remain ignorant in spite of the facts. That is not stupidity. That is malice. That is evil. It is wrong. You're choosing to live in your own little world and ignore everything else and hurt others because it makes you feel better. You're a piece of shit. That's what you are. And people say autistic people have a hard time dealing with change, but I've come across very few that wouldn't change once presented with facts. Now, maybe if it was something personal in their life, Like actually physical change, like moving houses. That sucks. We have everything the way we want it. You know, it's all in a certain way. It's all neat or not. It's however it needs to be. And that changes, that sucks. And that can mess with your mind. But if you believe something and someone comes up to you and go, that's not true, you might go, that's bullshit. How do you know? And they go, here are all these facts, like actual proven scientific data. Most autistic people go, well, shit, I'm an idiot. I'll believe this now because it's not belief. I know it's a fact. I thought 2 + 2 was 5 my entire life. Turns out it's 4, and someone broke down math to me. Well, shit. Now that I know that, it will always say that it's 4. Not hold on to 5 for dear life because that's what I believed. No, I'm not stupid. But if you fuck with how my collection of video games or movies is stacked, I might actually kill you. It's a difference. It's a difference. A lot of people with autism are very smart. Like, for example, one day when I was 16, I had the day off. Mom took me to her work with her that day. I was with the calmer kids. One of them was 100%. He was one of the smartest people I ever met. That's true. Or 100% mute. Ah, okay. That is true. So being able to talk or communicate does not mean you're not smart. It doesn't mean you're not intelligent at all. But being able to communicate, and communicate very well, does not mean you're intelligent. There are lots of great talkers who can't say shit. However, lack of intelligence doesn't make someone bad. It doesn't. Choosing to keep that lack of intelligence or education, choosing to stay closed-minded, choosing to stay one or the other, that makes you bad because it's a choice. But just not getting things because it doesn't work in your mind, that doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you someone who needs help. But autistic people, and there can be stupid autistic people, which, that's fine. There's lots of stupid people. There's lots of, I still hate not want to use the word stupid. There's lots of non-intelligent people. But they can be kind and compassionate and great and also not ignorant. They can know a lot of things, but just not have the intelligence to necessarily completely understand or fully break them down. And that's fine. But autistic people usually can break down a lot of shit, but they just don't know how to convey it. And I have that problem. I got a lot of things up here. A lot of incredible things, but I don't know how to word them. I don't know how to get them out of my head. I don't know how to write them down. I don't know how to draw. For some reason, I used to be able to draw at one point in time, and then I just lost the ability. And I don't mean because of lack of practice. I used to be able to kind of draw from memory, and I kind of can't anymore. Probably because my hands shake so goddamn bad. But there's like scenes for like movies or plays or whatever, and I can see it in my head, and I can see it in 3D, and I can get all these great, and that's how I would do the shot and everything. And then when it comes to actually doing it, I don't know how to do it. Because I don't have the tools, I don't have the words, I don't have the ability to do it. I mean, that's something that's very difficult to overcome. But people can. But you have to overcome it in your own ways. And one of the problems is many autistic people aren't given different ways or allowed to have different ways. They're made to do it one way or the other, and that is just simply not how it fucking works. It's never been how it worked. But the rest of the world doesn't care. Because a bag blew across the floor and it scared me. Oh man, what is Twitch doing? Twitch just keeps, or my internet, I guess, it just keeps dying and coming back to life, dying and coming back to life. Man, that's not good. This is probably going to be a terrible podcast to actually listen to. You know, I mean, this format probably works a little bit better as just chatting and whatever. And I might do some that aren't done for the podcast, but I wanted to do a podcast and keep doing it. And it's Monday night, and I need a podcast for the week. So I'd figure that. I don't really know what else to talk about. We're called the Autistic Cowboy. The channel's called the Autistic Cowboy, and we don't really talk about autism a lot. And I figured, especially after seeing that damn article the other day, that I might as well talk about it. I keep having to shoot down these misconceptions again and again and again. But I guess I don't do it enough on here, so I figured might as well use this platform in particular and shoot them down again. We have empathy. We can love. We can be very loving. We might not be very loving 100% of the time. But it doesn't mean that we're not being 100%. Or going into 100%. It means that we're involved in another activity on our brain and trying to do something and figure something out. And we don't know how to basically separate things out. Everything has to be given 100%. So if something else has my attention, it has to be 100% attention. It doesn't mean that I don't still love someone on 100%. Or, there's a fun one. I need a rest. My brain actually needs to rest. Because all day I'm putting up a front. It's real. People a lot of times they hear that and they think it's fake. It's not. It's real. It's absolutely real. But at the end of the day, sometimes with being around people, especially when I haven't been used to being around people for a long time, I have to recharge. And because of this, I'm kind of like a robot at the end of the day, and I'm very quiet. And I may not seem like the best person or the most loving in the world. It's just me trying to recharge, reset. A lot of times it has to do with the medication that I'm on. Once it wears off, it's kind of difficult. So I either want to be very, very quiet or I want to be very loud and boisterous. But I have to figure out a way to channel that energy. And it's difficult. And finding the balance is also very difficult. And I don't know if I've actually found that balance. I just know I'm living the best that I can through this. And even still, having talked about this so much, I don't have the words. I had the words earlier. Like it comes to me at the moment, the thoughts flood my head. I could talk about it for hours. But if I'm trying to talk about it later, I keep burping. God, about it later, then I can't find the words, and that's an issue that I don't exactly know how to fix. Now, one of the reasons I cuss so damn much is otherwise it's going to be a bunch of ers and ums and whatever, and my brain just locks up, and that sucks, and I don't know how to fix that. It's a problem. My eyes are on fire. I think it's cedar or mold. Either way, it burns. It burns a lot. I know why I know why I took my glasses off, because my eyes were on fire. I don't know why I didn't put them back on, because I can't see anything other than the fact that I'm still losing a lot of frames. I've lost 4,000 frames already. Dear God. And I'm not running at a high frame rate or particularly high bit rate either. But it keeps going down to like 0. So there's nothing lower than 0. So I don't really know what I'm supposed to do at that moment in time. I don't know what's up with the internet. The download speed is immaculate. Like legit. The best, like the fastest you can get in the county. for this price. And it's actually faster than what I can get in some bigger cities for the price. But the upload speed still sucks. I'm supposed to get up to 20, but that's the key word there. Up to doesn't mean constant or consistent. But for the last couple days, I was streaming and it was fine. It just seems for whatever reason this Monday, it's just a little off. I don't know if I need to reset my modem or what, but it was. It seems to be going happen. I completely just lost my ability to talk. Is it a problem with the PC? No, it's actually a problem with the bitrate. It's just inconsistent some days, and I can speed test it, and I can. Oh well, God. There it goes in the middle of answering a chatter's question or a viewer's question. It just dies. My backup looks like I'm back up. All right. No, it's absolutely a problem with the internet. And I know this because I can put it on my phone and do the internet speed test, and it's just as inconsistent there. It's just some days it has a consistent upload, and some days it doesn't. Most companies have a good download. If you are in a place that has good download. Almost none have good upload. With fiber, we're getting pretty good upload speed now. But a lot of them offer up to a certain much. And they always say up to, because that means the max. Doesn't mean you'll get that all the time. It's just an issue. I might reset the router. Every now and then that helps, but I don't know. It gets weird, and I wish it didn't, because I would love a consistent upload speed. That would be great. But I don't. For whatever reason. And when it works, it works. I'm glad that I have it. Even a little bit. I'm just unsure why on some days it's weird. And maybe because it's congested. Maybe everybody's trying to upload at the same time. Last couple days it was great. The one day I've streamed on those days and it was fine. And now I'm like, all right, time to do the podcast. And it's like, nah. Last few times at the podcast, it was great. So, or fine or whatever. Put these back on before I give myself a migraine. Oh, God, these are dirty. Jeez. Oh, back down to 0. Like watching a stock ticker. No, that's not the problem with my PC. I mean, there's lots of problems with the PC. The fact that it doesn't have a case, and it's just sitting on a table. But other than that, it runs fine. As much money as I spent on it to make it work. And just rig the crap out of it. But it works. But the problem's with the internet. Otherwise, it would run fine on the phone. I've speed tested it. It's just an issue. And I don't know why, other than maybe congestion or whatever. But apparently the upload speeds in general are hard to get and hard to make consistent because it runs on a different type of infrastructure in a lot of places, and that infrastructure sucks. At least that's what I've read. I don't know. Maybe it is a simple fix and they just don't care. That's also very possible. We're dealing with giant companies that don't really give a shit. And some of them have virtually a monopoly on a lot of stuff. So I wouldn't really be that surprised if that was the case. But who knows? I know that it does suck when it just kills itself, just like it did right there. Oh my God. When, I think you gotta finish your paper that's due midnight. See, now that's weird. Why'd that pop up there, but not here? What the hell? Let's restart that. That was weird. For whatever reason, I lost the chat. Like it wasn't updating on the little thing that I look at for chat. Here's another idea. Or another question. How do I change it? Like actually change the source? Shouldn't I be able to do that? It doesn't seem to have an option. It just says source and it's like, nope. It's kind of weird. All things considered, little odd. Little not great. This podcast is probably terrible. I know we're trying new things, and I wish. I mean, we had the new consoles release, and would you know, I don't have one, so I can't really talk about it. Not even just not having the. Not even not just having the money, but I don't. You can't find one of the damn things. And apparently people are faking problems with them and blowing vape smoke in their Xbox because that's a thing now. Don't think you're going to be able to finish it because you ran out of ADHD meds. Ooh, that's not great. Why is it not? That's fucking weird. Okay, it just died. Could just use that. That's great. I don't know why I was using anything else. Let me look at the chat thing. I don't know. What I do think I'm going to do is end the stream for a bit in this podcast, 36 minutes, because I'm having to do some troubleshooting, and that's not exactly a good thing to listen to. But I got my little rant out of the way. We got an episode for the week. Hopefully, I can rein this all back, figure some shit out, and then also reset this chat issue that I'm having. I don't know what the hell is going on. But anyway, I'll be right back. But for the end of the podcast, I hope you enjoyed this episode and all the other episodes. You can check them all out on Anchor FM or wherever podcast you listen to. You can also see the video version up on YouTube or watch it live on YouTube and Twitch whenever they go up. I'd like to say every Sunday or Monday, but with my schedule, who knows? But hopefully next time I actually have more topics and more things to talk about, and everything doesn't just die all the time like it's doing now. And I have more to talk about and actually have a more entertaining podcast. I'm not saying my episodes are usually good, but they're better than this. But anyway,